Hi, it's John Child, and welcome to episode 12 of the Business Growth Weekly. As usual, I'm joined by my good friend Stephen Swift of YorkshireMarketingBusiness.com. Hi, Steve. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. John, how's the week been for you?
Hey, it's been a busy week, but it's been a really good one. How about yourself, Steve?
Oh, likewise. There's always something to keep me out of mischief.
Oh,
So
there's always cats to milk.
there is indeed. There's many irons in the fire, and I don't know quite how we're going to carry on, but we'll press on anyway. So it's like a jelly jungle out there. It really is.
You can't go wrong without it.
If you if you're all just wondering what on earth we're going on about, as John said on many episodes before, we do have a little bit of a pre-briefing before we start shooting video, and I'll let you in the secret. Basically, I can't show the name, but I am actually just helping myself to a little packet here of a very popular branded jelly sweet,
I just
uh,
was not expecting that one at all.
and they're called Jelly Jungles. So. Sharing. So we're bringing you all into the joke there, rather than making you feel like you're on the fence, because that's not what these videos are about. It's bringing you, making you part of it. So
We should point out other gelatinous snacks are available.
I'm not even going to try and repeat that word because I'll get it wrong and I'll get this video banned, or you'll have to sign in to prove your age. Well, there we go. That's another story.
Let's not go there.
No, let's not. So
Today's
this week's
topic,
topic,
Steve.
John. Yes, go on.
Building success into your day.
How to, indeed.
How to. Yes.
Yes. Episode 12 that we're on.
Episode 12. It's flying by, and this one, I think we can both agree, sort of carries on from what we did last time about the time management.
Absolutely.
So how do you go about building success into your day, Steve?
Well, what's your thoughts on it, John?
Well, I like to, have some gelatinous snacks, and no. I think one of the things following on from last week and knowing what you want to do, obviously you need to know the tasks that you need to get done during the week. And once you've got those, and once you know what projects you're working on and what your actual goals are, you need to have, to my mind, three things in order to build success into your day. The first being focus. You need to focus on what you're doing. What on earth are you doing?
I'm sorry. This doesn't often happen when we record these episodes, but for some reason tonight, it's overtaken the giggles, I'm afraid.
Steve is. I think we should explain that Steve is experiencing something of a sugar rush.
I've had too many of these. What did you call them?
Gelatinous snacks.
That was it. So I think I got the one with the X or E in. I was in E numbers, by the way.
So yes.
No, I just looked up at the screen and just looked at the way we record these episodes, and I just looked at the screen, and John looked slightly lower in the seat than usually. It just looked quite comical. Sorry, John. I didn't mean to interrupt while you were in mid-flow there.
That's okay. I was just talking
conversational type.
That's okay. I was, just talking about focus and the importance.
And it just goes to prove, doesn't it, that how you can be detracted from that focus, isn't it? Really?
Very, very easily, especially by somebody sitting lower in their seat or the odd bit of glare on the screen.
It's a resolution, is that? But we'll not go into that one, will we?
That's the resolution. Yeah. So anyway, focus.
Absolutely.
Self-discipline. And the third being energy.
Mm-hmm.
Focus being a mental discipline. Self-discipline being a physical discipline. And energy being a combination of the two. Now, I know there'll be people watching this at the moment going, but hang on a minute, self-discipline, that's a mental discipline. But what we're talking about really is the ability to say, I am going to sit, if you've got a task to do at your desk, I'm going to sit at my desk until it's done. Either if you've set yourself a task of, say, 2 hours a week, you're going to sit down and do a particular thing. Maybe book work or something, is having the self-discipline to physically sit at the desk and do it. Because you'll sit there and the first time you do it, you might not get much done. And the second time you do it, you might not get much done. But the third time you do it, your mind goes, oh, we're here again. We might as well apply the focus now to do this. And the way I describe it, it's a bit like going to the gym. And this is something that hopefully people can relate to. When you go to the gym, Steve, first time you did a workout or you went to the gym, how did you feel on your way into the gym? Nervous? Did you
No,
feel trepidation?
no.
Could you have done? Halfway
When
through,
the
half,
first time I went into the gym, it was like all new surroundings. It's like
yeah,
finding your bearings, I suppose, and like
yeah,
who else is there, and
yeah,
who's the guy not to upset, and who's the guy that you might need to, get some help from and some advice from. So you try and find your level and your common
yeah.
ground sort of thing, and you're out of your comfort zone, aren't you? At the end of the day, when you go
That's
into somewhere new.
that's what I'm looking for. So you're out of your comfort zone. About halfway through your workout, how do you feel? Do you feel good?
Yep.
Halfway through your workout,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
You
But I
don't?
always feel like, how long is this going to take, and what am I going to
Uh,
have to keep doing in order to get to where I want to be?
yeah,
And can I change my routine a little bit,
yeah,
to progress? I mean, taking the gym scenario. I mean, I haven't been to the gym for quite some time, as some people would probably say we can tell. But when I did go, frequently to the gym, sort of thing, like 6 days a week, I got to the point where I was
Well, you're
a bit
married now.
obsessive, really. And it was like, well, what do I do this visit to the gym that's going to that's like going to make up the shoulders exercise and move away from the shoulders and do the lats and the triceps and biceps and one thing, and you'd like change your
Yeah.
routine a little bit to accomplish different tasks.
So
So
yeah, well, that's good. But what I was actually looking for was basically while you're actually doing the work. Say you're on the running machine. You're 7 miles into the longest run you've ever done. You're probably feeling like it's pretty hard work, and there's a lot of muscle strain going and everything else. When you come out of the gym, you get the benefit, you get the energy of that, you get the energy from that, probably a couple of hours after you've left. You get that rush of energy of, wow, I feel great actually because I've done a workout.
yeah, you do have to have that period
Mm,
to like that recovery period.
yeah.
Uh,
So so that's really where I'm coming from with this model, the Trinity success model, I call it, in that basically with everything in life you get the reward after you do the work, right? Nobody pays you before you've done the work, or very rarely. In some industry, in our industries, actually they do, um, but basically in life, well, in mine, but basically in life, you have to put in the work before you get the reward, and that's what this is about. So when you start off, and so the next time you go to the gym, or if you go to the gym a few times, then you start to notice actually I've got the energy to go all the way through that workout, and maybe it's time I increase the workout or change the routine or whatever. Um, so that's the basis of this model: is if you've got the focus, you'll develop the self-discipline,
mhm.
because you can, if you stay focused, the discipline will come. If you haven't got the focus, you can develop that by having the self-discipline to do the job anyway, to physically put yourself in a position where you say, I'm not going to move until I've done this.
Yeah,
And then after that, you get the rush of, I've done it. It's fantastic. So then it makes it easier to build momentum and run through. And so that's a way that using the grid that we talked about last time,
yeah,
once you've got that grid, you can build in the success by having the self-discipline and the focus to stick with it. And eventually what you find is it builds, personally it will build you energy, but it also builds momentum into what you're doing, and you end up achieving a hell of a lot more than you expected. So that's kind of my take on it. Very, very quick introduction to my success model that I managed to develop.
fantastic.
Does that ring true for you, Steve?
Uh, yes, certainly elements that you say, John. It's quite interesting how you put that across actually and breaking it down so people can suddenly start to realise, oh yeah, actually, I'm doing that. You know, the hardest thing is sometimes to get started in the morning when you first sit down at the desk, and it's like, right, okay, what have I got to get done today? It's back to
Mm,
previous episodes with the action list that we've both gone through and mentioned, and then it's applying what's on the action list. Because if you don't start applying things, it's just never going to get done. Simple as that. And if you look at it, it's like, well, is it all in the right priority order? What needs to be done to reach that level of success? If you don't do these elements, then you're never going to make progress. It's simple as that. So,
yeah.
in the way you broke that down to explain that and use the analogy of obviously the gym, and when you're there, you're on the treadmill or you're on the bench press or whatever it might be, and you're just trying to push them last couple of, presses out on the bench press sort of thing. And it's a struggle. It's, oh, you feel like quitting and giving up. But once you've actually pushed through and done them last two sort of thing, and you're absolutely burning like mad on your muscles, it's like, oh, flipping out. I'm glad I've done it. You get the massive jitters and shakes for a bit afterwards. But then once you've finished, you feel really pumped up and really good about what you've managed
Mm,
to achieve. So incorporating that to what you said about the workload sort of thing, I know I need to get this done. It's difficult. I'm getting exhausted from still trying to finish this task. But once it's done, you get that rush sort of thing and that good feeling afterwards going, actually, I've really done well.
mm,
I mean, like for elements that I take care of is like when you build a website for somebody or you create a campaign. And it's hard work putting it all together, but once you've continued to apply yourself at it to the best of your ability and you've completed it and you hand it over to the client for them to have a look at, and they literally their eyes open up and go, "We weren't expecting this much.
mm,
Wow!" All of a sudden, that's when you get that rush of fantastic.
yeah.
Sometimes the point you're saying is usually a couple of hours after sort of thing. Well, with what I do, sometimes it's a case of it could be like 3 days before they're available for me to go and have a meeting with them and do a demonstration of what I've put together for them. So I've got 3 days of building up to that point of I've done it. Now I've got that cooling
Mm,
period before I get to present it, and then I get the rush of brilliant. Yeah, I've done really well. Sometimes they can we do some tweaks, work in progress. The longer projects that we manage for people. But others, it's like, yeah, we're really happy with that, and that's when you get that rush that you mentioned. So I think one other thing when it's with the topic, obviously, with building success into your day, is with regards to the focus that you mentioned, is making sure that other influencers don't detract you from what your main key focus is to achieve that day, that week, that month, and so on. Because there are people out there that if they see you being successful or making good progress and good headway, they might start feeling that you don't deserve to have success. Why should
yeah.
you be successful? Why should you be doing so well when we're struggling our 9 to 5 job
Yeah.
or whatever it is, or we've started our business and we're not having as much success and as much joy as what you are. So they'll try and pull you down,
That's right.
and
Yeah.
they'll try and knock your confidence a little
Mm,
bit and try and distract you from what you're doing and distract you from completing certain tasks which help you move forward in business.
absolutely.
And those are the people that you soon find out are your true friends, are the people that you should be hanging around with. And that's a really difficult crossroads that you come to in your life. And I know you touched on it in previous episodes about your mindset and one thing and another. So we've
Mm.
kind of touched on the topic. I'm not going over it again, but you've got to be strong at them points. You've
You
really
really
got to
do.
dig
And
deep.
one of the things that I sort of advise clients on that is to learn this phrase. Thanks for the advice. I'll let you know what I decide.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Because what tends to happen is people tell you that they don't think you should do something, and then they get annoyed when you do it anyway, because they want control over what you are capable of doing. Just that simple little reply says to them, basically, duly noted, I'll do what I want.
Yeah.
In a way
Yes.
that's polite, but says, not really any of your business.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So, but that's what I'd say anyways. Keep that focus, know what you need to achieve, and don't let outside influences, i.e., other people, your peers possibly,
Mm,
your circle of friends, distract you when they see you doing good and you're doing well for yourself.
absolutely.
Uh, don't feel like they have the power to decide whether or not you should or shouldn't be doing something.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
that's
very
right.
fortunate. I've spoken on a number of occasions to a very wealthy gentleman. He started as a trainee mechanic. worked his way up, and he worked hard. He got on and he did the job. And people at the time were, why you, being such a kind of terminology, a brown noser, to use his terminology,
Mm.
slightly better. But basically, they were saying, you should be on your break with us and stop putting all these hours in and working so hard. And it's like, well, no, leave me to get on. This is
Mm.
what I want to do. And now that guy owns a huge multi-million-pound car franchise. Dealership,
Mm.
and chain of dealerships, and he's going and buying golf courses up now. He's doing very, very well for himself, and he's such a down to earth guy. But he made the decision. I was very fortunate to go to a. Not only did I go to an event where he was talking, but I actually filmed it as well, so I have all the raw footage. And some of the jokes he told were brilliant. I'd have to get his permission though to share anything. But the gentleman in question, he had that same thing. He could have been distracted. He could have been swayed away by his peers saying, "No, you're not good enough to be doing all these extra hours. You shouldn't be doing that. We're not going to let you." And he didn't listen. He says, "Look, you do what you want to do, and just let me get on
Yeah.
with it. All right," sort of thing. And as I say, the guy's making millions, but he's
Yeah.
worked flipping hard for it,
That's
and he's kept that focus, and he built success
great.
into his day as a trainee
Yeah.
mechanic, working his way up the corporate ladder to the point where he went, I can set my own business up.
Yeah.
Much like I'm sure quite a few people watching these videos are just
Absolutely.
starting out in business that have been in employment and thought,
Mm.
do you know what? I want to set my own whatever it might be up, bookkeeping practice up, or like what I did. My first business was a logistics company, and
Mm.
starting that up. So there's different avenues people go at, but because they've learned from the previous employment history, and then they go it alone, so to speak, and then carry on. And it's at that point where you really get people going, "Oh, you're starting your own business. What are you doing that for?" Well, because I want to. I
Mm.
want to make something in my life. I want to take charge of my destiny, and I
Mm.
feel that I can do this and be very successful at it. And you get people bantering, you left, right, and centre down the
That's right.
pub or whatever it is. Oh, you're not still trying to, make a few scraps and a few crumbs for yourself as what you'd call
Mm.
a living, do you? It says, no, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get there. And if you stay focused and keep pushing,
That's
then
right.
it's going to be. And that's the only way you're going to have success in your day is to, like you say, all the points you've mentioned, the few points I've touched on, and what we've said in previous episodes, all
Yeah.
put it all together. It comes up with how you build success in your day. So I would suggest if you haven't watched some of the previous episodes, and I know some of them are a bit long, and we are actually going to rectify that. We've had some feedback from some people that have said we really like your videos, but some of them are a bit long. So we're going to categorize them down a little bit and like put an index, so you know whereabouts to jump to catch the point that you want to really listen to. And when you do have more time, you can maybe watch the episodes in their entirety. So I'd suggest looking back at some of the previous episodes just to get the fuller picture on this.
Absolutely. I think it's worth saying, that if you are skipping bits of the videos or you're missing the clues to where we buried the treasure, and it's an awfully big casket.
Mm. You do need to see
Mm.
them all the way through, really.
Yeah.
Uh, Otherwise,
So.
you're gonna miss the punchline to our jokes.
But
So, but
but no, I think absolutely. I think that's great. I think we've covered quite a lot in this episode.
another
Uh,
short one for us, John.
which
But
absolutely, but
you know,
hopefully people will get the benefit from it, and obviously go onto the web page, ask any questions you want. We'll be on there. Um,
absolutely.
just leaves for me to say thanks very much for joining us. Thank you again, Steve,
No
and
problem.
we'll see you next week.
Okay, take care.